Sean, can you give us an update on your injury status and what it looks like going maybe into Monday?
Yeah. So everybody's good except for, Rapp is still working through stuff. So we're going to, he's going to be out for the game, which is a big loss for us. But he's doing everything in his power to get back as quickly as possible. And then Buddy Howell with his hamstring will be doubtful. Everybody else should be good.
How's Eric Weddle coming along? And do you anticipate that come by Monday, he'll be on the active roster and contributing in the game?
Yes, he's coming along great. And yes to that. Been really, I'm not surprised. I mean, Weddle's really, you guys know him. You guys made him stay on a conference call for an hour the other day. He's hard not to love. And no, he's done a great job, Lindsay. He's brought a great energy. He's a great communicator. He's a great leader. And, he'll be ready to go. What exactly that role looks like, we're still working through. Got a lot of confidence in Nick Scott and Terrell Burgess as well.
We didn't make him do that. He did that.
Yeah, right.
And finally, Sean, just a lot of the times the vibe around there kind of just picks up intensity and urgency once you get into the playoffs. Do you feel that this week from your team?
You know what I love about this team, Lindsay? I think guys consistently go to work. I think there's definitely a clear understanding of, what the circumstances are in terms of, hey, you win, you advance. And if we don't take care of business, then the season's over. So I'd like to think that our guys are always very focused, have great concentration. We got the right kind of guys, but I think you just know the stakes are higher, but the level of urgency at practice has been consistent with what it's always been.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
Nick.
Good morning, Coach. James Conner for the Arizona Cardinals. What makes him so difficult to try to contain and defend, and what makes him so elusive, especially in that running game?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice from having to yell in that tent with all the other noises in the background and meeting and stuff. But we'll take it. So here's what makes him great, Nick. Is you look at his career in Pittsburgh. He was a tough, physical downhill runner. And I couldn't be more impressed with the versatility that he's displayed with the situations and the opportunities he's been given in Arizona. He's a really gifted player out of the backfield. He's got a great feel in the screen game. He can make plays, catching the football, intermediate down the field. I mean, you saw the one-handed snag that he had against us the last time that we played them. So I think it's the versatility, the ways that he's able to be utilized. Obviously, he's got a nose for the end zone, but I think the contact bounce, all the things that made him great in Pittsburgh. And then he's also given opportunities to show what a complete player he is. And I think he and Edmonds are an excellent 1-2 punch.
And also another question for you in the recent turn of events, as far as there being only one current black head coach in the NFL, you've been coaching for quite some time, obviously been around the NFL ranks for even longer. What do you feel like needs to happen? Is it something that the coaches need to come together on and speak about this issue as far as the lack of opportunities or the lack of having black coaches and coordinators in the NFL and having opportunities to be coaches in the NFL?
Yeah, I think it's very important to acknowledge that, when I feel so fortunate that I'm around great coaches, and then a lot of these guys happen to be, African-American, but, really we got great coaches, and there's a lot of great coaches, that this league has to offer. And I know firsthand from the guys that are on our staff. I mean, and my understanding is a couple of those guys are going to get an opportunity to compete for some of these jobs. But I know, like you look at Raheem Morris and what he's meant to me as a mentor, as somebody. And so it is something that you're disappointed. You want to do whatever you can to help, have that go in the right direction. But there's a lot of great coaches, and hopefully those guys get an opportunity to compete for some of those jobs that I think some are deserving of, being in those roles.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome, Nick.
Jordan.
Hey, Sean, on yesterday's injury report, it looked like Van Jefferson was had maybe a little bit of a setback. Are you able to expand on that? And I know you said they're good to go, but would he be limited anyway with that shoulder?
He should be good. He was just feeling a little off. We just wanted to check, and I think sometimes when you get the clarity from some of the, scans or whatever, it can kind of just give you that sense of peace. And he's such a tough competitor, Jordan. He'll be good.
And then with Eric, I mean, what's a realistic, you've seen him work and move and seen his kind of his football legs at this point. What's like a realistic workload for him in this regard, especially in light of you guys needing some depth there this week?
Yeah. We've talked about that a lot. with Eric, with our coaches, and there's a lot of ranges. And I think a lot of it will be feeling for the game. Like I said, you do have tremendous confidence in those other guys. Burgess has played good football. Nick Scott's played a lot of really good football for us, Jordan. So there'll be situations and circumstances, and then Eric's ability to communicate to us. But, I do know as a competitor, when he's out there, if he's going and he gets into the flow, he's going to want to go. And, if he's feeling good and there's no risk and we're in a really, and we're in a good flow, we'll kind of just take it a snap at a time. But I think it's hard for me to realistically put a parameter around it because this is something that's never been done before. It could be 10, could be 30. I think, in a lot of instances too, it depends on, what type of personnel groupings that we're presenting to the Cardinals offense as well.
And just real quick follow-up for me on that. Is there a benefit too? I mean, let's say it doesn't go that way and there's, you guys are grooving in another package or sub package. Is there benefit to having him on the side, even diagnosing, communicating, and helping with that communication flow?
There's no question. Yeah, you just said it. I mean, his ability to communicate, his ability to be able to kind of instill confidence in the teammates around him because of, how smart, how cerebral he is. There is no question that when he's on the grass, he ends up being an extension of the coaching staff because of the way he's always approached the game. And there's definite benefits that he can provide just being present, whether that be on the field or off the field with these guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Sean. Being around Stafford this week, do you get the sense that anything is different as he comes up to the game or games by which a lot of people are going to judge his entire first season with the Rams?
Who's going to do that? You?
Yes, I will.
There you go. All right.
But I mean,
no, you know what, Kevin, he has been steady. He's been consistent. He's been the same. And he's very confident in his ability to go out and play really good football for us, just like I am. And, I think one of my favorite things about Matthew is how refreshingly secure he is in himself. There's a total respect for the jobs that you guys have to be able to do, but, we want to do everything we can to be able to win this football game. Kind of like I mentioned the other day, the results, when a quarterback plays well, he can have a big hand in it, but it's not exclusively on that. Looking forward to playing a good, clean game as a team. And, Matthew's going to be an instrumental part of that. I feel good about it.
He obviously had a good regular season for you, by some standards, his best season in the NFL. Is it fair then if we judge him by what happens next?
Yeah, I think that there's so many layers to playing the quarterback position, Kevin, and to exclusively just rate whether we win or lose this game on how that pertains to his performance. I think it's short-sighted, and I think you got to be able to put some context around it. We'll be able to have a better discussion on how we played and what the game ended up happening. But there's a reason why you play 17 games. He helped us, win a division. He was a huge part of that. And kind of like I had mentioned earlier on in the week, I just have tremendous respect for how much goes into this position and how much he has learned and really taken ownership on everything that we're asking that was totally foreign a year ago, and even less than a year ago. And so he's only getting better. I think he's done a great job leading. He's, his teammates love him. His coaches love him. And so I know that this team is excited about the opportunity to compete against a great football team, see if we can do everything in our power to let it all hang out and go advance. And I know Matthew feels the same way, but I think he's had a successful season. We want to go as far as we can take this thing, Kevin, but I don't think it's exclusively a reflection of what occurs moving forward. And, everybody's entitled to their opinion on that. And I totally respect that.
And then just quickly, is Troy Reeder the defensive signal caller?
It's looking like there's a good chance of that.
Thank you.
You got
All right, guys, we have walked through here in about 10 minutes. We got 4 hands. Start with you, Garrett.
Hey, Sean. Just wanted to know, are there any particular challenges when you're facing a playoff opponent that frankly had not played well down the stretch and lost a lot of games? Is there anything particularly challenging when you're facing a team like that?
I think it's a challenge because this is a good football team. I saw them a couple weeks ago, beat a really, really good Dallas team at Dallas. They went wire to wire, and I don't care what Seattle's record is. That's a really good football team. We know that. And so I got a lot of respect for this team. They've done a great job. You've heard me say this before, Gary. This team was good enough to get in. They won 11 games out of their 17. They beat us earlier in the year. We had to play really well to get after them at their place. And it's going to be who plays the best in that 3-hour window. Really nothing that occurred prior to has anything to do with what's going to go on in that 3-hour time frame. And we've got to be able to execute and be in the moment and enjoy the op that these guys have earned.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jim.
Yeah, Sean, you've had Odell now for a couple of months. What's impressed you most about him in the time that he's been around?
I think it's just the consistency with his daily approach, Jim. I mean, there's not one thing that I can point out. It's how smart he is. Obviously, he's so gifted and talented. What a good teammate he is. He's been a real joy to be around, Jim. I've really enjoyed it. He brings definitely a swagger and a confidence to our team, and he's fun to be around. And so there's just so many things that I've really enjoyed about being able to work with him. And then he's really got some great experiences and great perspective. You listen to he and Cooper talk amongst one another with the resumes that those guys have built and kind of really just being able to kind of sharpen each other. It's been fun. He's been really coachable. I think Eric Yarber does a great job with that room, but it's all of those things, Jim. I think it's just the entire body of work and how he comes in every single day. He's got a zest for life, and that's a good thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maria, then Kurt.
Hey, Sean, we've seen Jalen Ramsey turn into a leader over time, and he shared with us yesterday that Eric Weddle has been kind of, really kind of like texting him, saying things to him to really kind of motivate him or call him out on stuff. How important is that for even one of the leaders on the team to get that input from other players?
I think it's huge, and Jalen's a guy that, when he respects you, I think he always had tremendous respect for Eric because the way he carried himself, his body of work on the field, and Eric, similar to Jalen, is very straightforward, but there's an emotional intelligence when they deliver that information that it's received the right way. And I think Jalen respects that. Those guys that are the best at what they do, as you know, Maria, they want to be coached hard. They want to be demanded, excellent snap in and snap out, just like they demand of themselves. And I think when you do that, and I think he always felt like Eric really poured into him because Eric cares about his teammates. And you could see the immediate respect and rapport they had for one another as soon as we traded for Jalen in that 19 season. And then they've kept in touch because that's the type of guy that both those guys are, type of person that they both are.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
And Sean, my last question is from an experience standpoint. You're now in playoffs for the fourth time in 5 years. What value do you see that you've specifically learned from the playoffs that might be different from the regular season? Yeah,
it's hard to say. I mean, really, it's still about the same things that are in alignment with winning in the regular season. I just think that you want to be consistent in your approach. I think that the key thing is hey, let's go compete to the best of our ability. Go play with a quieted mind. Does the level of competition ramp up in the pace and the speed? I think that's for players to be able to answer. But I think why it's ramped up is it's because these are the best teams throughout the 17-game resume that they established, and they earn the right to be one of those 14 that get an opportunity to go compete for a world championship. And so it's about playing really good in this game. Even going back to last year, playing Seattle, playing Green Bay, did those previous experiences. I think everything is a learning opportunity, but, I could say that same thing about regular season games, but the stakes are higher because of because of what we all know means if you don't handle your business.
Good luck Monday. Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. See you guys.